it's Amber here. Today is Monday, the 10th, and I'm just gonna do a super quick update. I'm not feeling the best today. I think I had some bad sushi for lunch or something. Had my follow-up on Friday and then my follow-up monitoring appointment this morning. First on Friday I only was showing 4 follicles. That's all she was finding, and so I was kind of concerned about that. This morning I had my next follow-up, and she found 8 that were growing, 5 that were really good size, and then another 3 that were kind of coming up behind that a little bit. So posted my blood work results and stuff to Instagram like I have been doing today, and one of my infertility buddies, she kind of pointed out that my estrogen was kind of low, so I got to doing some research, and my estrogen's like a lot lower than what it probably should be, given the research anyways. Called the clinic. The first nurse didn't seem too concerned about it. The second nurse seemed a little bit more concerned, but was like, well, you know, there's any number of things that could be causing it. We'll just kind of see what happens on Wednesday, if it's still low or what. So I had to deal with that. And then also there's an issue with my medication where my Menopur that was supposed to be here today was delayed, and so then I didn't have the full dose that I need tonight, and I had to call Integrity and chew them out, which wasn't their fault, it was FedEx's fault, but still. And then call my clinic, and she was able to kind of figure out what to do, and she said basically just to, I have 1 vial for tonight, but I need 2, and she said just to supplement my, what should have been my second vial of Menopur, just add that extra 75 IU to my Gonalef. So I'm going to do that. How I'm feeling prior to this, like, nausea, upset stomach thing is, sorry, I didn't feel like getting out my tripod today. I feel pretty good for the most part. I was feeling really great. Today I'm feeling a little bit more bloated, I guess. They found 5 follicles that are 14 to 16 millimeters is what they're measuring. And then 3 that are in the 12 to 14 range. And then a couple that are real small. So that's where we stand with everything. I'm gonna wrap this up. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day. I'll continue this video later. Bye. Hey everyone, it's Wednesday now. Wednesday afternoon, and I wanted to share with y'all the update from today. So there's really no other way to say it than I went for my ultrasound and blood work this morning. Ultrasound looked great. Had mature follicles, looked awesome. My uterus looked great. Everything seemed to be going great. I went and got my blood work done, and my blood work was the first thing that came through to CNY and was put on my portal. And first thing I did was look at my estrogen levels to see if they had risen, because on Monday they were really low. And on Monday, I talked to the nurses over the phone at CNY, and I talked to 2 different nurses, and both of them gave different explanations for why my estrogen levels might be low, and both of them basically said, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. So today, when I looked at my estrogen levels, now on Monday my estrogen level was 193, and today when I looked at my blood work, my estrogen level was 198. I had went up 5 points in 2 days. And according to my research, for every maturing follicle, you should expect to see about 200 per follicle. So if you have 4 follicles, you should be at like 800 or higher even. 200 is kind of on the lower end. So the fact that I wasn't even at 200 total was really alarming to me. And I'm very thankful for one of my friends, Natalie, who had shared with me that when I first posted my estrogen results on Monday, she said that's really low, and was telling me about the research. So I started doing the research, and she was right. It was low. But I still kind of had hope, and I talked to a couple other people that their estrogen levels were low too, but then, you know, the last couple of days of stems, it just jumped right up, right where it's supposed to be, no big deal. That obviously didn't happen with me. So I was originally set to do my retrieval on Friday, and when I just had a bad feeling once I saw my estrogen was only at 198. So I did more research. It all was saying the same thing. All the research was saying the same thing. That I should have been like over 1,000. And yet I wasn't. And so I waited for the clinic to call me today and update me, and finally the nurse called, and the first thing she says is, yeah, we got, you know, all your results in, and your ultrasound looks fantastic, your uterus looks great, your follicles are really growing, that's so good, but I'm concerned about your estrogen because that's pretty low. No shit, Sherlock. So I said, well, thank you for saying that, because I have been concerned about that this whole time. And when I called the 2 other nurses, they said it wasn't anything to worry about. She said, well, sometimes it starts low and goes high, and but the fact that it's Wednesday, which is Simon Stem's day 11, I think. Yeah, or 12, I don't know, and 11, yeah, I think, I don't know. Anyways, I think I'm on Stem's day 11. I'd have to count it out, but the fact that I'm on Stem's day 11 and it's still not very high was concerning. So she said, well, let me talk to Dr. Corley and see what he says, and then I'll give you a call back. So she called me again, and she said, well, I still haven't talked to Dr. Corley, but I was looking at your file and you're doing PGD testing, right? And I said, yeah, I'm doing that, and PGS. And she said, okay, well, you know, haven't heard anything from the genetic testing company. And so she said she was going to reach out to them and then call me back again. Then she called me back a 3rd time after she had talked to Dr. Corley, and she said that he was very much concerned about my estrogen levels as well, and then between them being low and me doing the PGD testing, that all the embryos have to make it to day 5 to be biopsied, and that basically with my estrogen being so low, the concern was that we would have any embryos actually make it to day 5 to be biopsied. So she said there was one of 2 courses of action. Either we could wait 2 more days and see if it went up any more, or we could just cancel the cycle. But due to the fact of my estrogen being so low, and it literally only went up 5 points in 2 days, that was kind of concerning to me, of why waste some more money on medication and doing all of this stuff if it's not going to go up to where it needs to be. Like, to go from 200 to over 1,000 in 2 days when it's only gone up 5 the last 2 days. It just didn't really seem realistic to me. So she said, yeah, you're right, and I think it would probably be best for you to cancel. So our cycle is canceled. And it sucks. I knew this was a possibility. I knew it was. You know, I made lots of friends in this community and seen lots of different variations of how this IVF thing can go. But I don't know, I guess I just hoped that we would, in my mind, the biggest hurdle would be after retrieval. That was always kind of what I was setting myself up for. I wasn't thinking we wouldn't even get to retrieval the first time. And honestly, I'm just still kind of stunned. I'm just really disappointed and frustrated and confused, because I don't know what is going on with my body that it's not doing what it needs to do. In some ways it's doing great, and then in other ways these little tiny variables just throw everything off, and it makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And we waited so long. We waited so long to get to this first cycle. Over 2.5 years to get here. And we spent a lot of money on medications so far. You know, I'm thankful that God has provided in some ways for us. And so it's not been as much of a financial burden as what it would have been, like, even 6 months ago, maybe. But it's just really frustrating. Especially when, like, on Monday I was kind of feeling like this was coming. And the way the nurses were just not acting like they cared. And so for 2 days I'm like, well, maybe it's just gonna go up. Maybe it's gonna go up. It'll go up. It'll go up. And it didn't. I mean, it did, but 5 whole freaking points. It's just kind of discouraging. Like, I know it's just the beginning right now, and you know, next cycle could go completely different, but I guess this is the first time that I'm really feeling like this could be a really long road for us, and that maybe IVF isn't gonna work. I mean, I'm still hopeful. I know it doesn't look like it, but I am hopeful that we can have a baby. But I think now that possibility is kind of entering my mind of this may not happen for us. And up to this point, I hadn't even really let myself really believe that on any level. And you know, I've not been shy about how I'm a believer, and this doesn't change that. And I still trust him, and I still know that he's good, and I don't know how this is part of his plan or why, The only thing I know is that he's gonna bring something good out of it. And I don't know what, and I don't know how, and I don't know when, but I know he's going to do something in this. So, you know, that's just where I'm at today. I don't really have anything else to say. I'm sorry I don't have more good news. And this is kind of a bummer for a birthday present, because my birthday is in a couple of days, and I should have been retrieving eggs on my birthday. Making little embryos. I'm turning 34. And time is just ticking. But there's not anything I can really do. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for following our journey. I'll update you guys when I know more. Once I have my follow-up phone conversation with the doctor about the next steps and everything, I'll post a video about that. But I hope everybody has a good day. Bye, guys.